Hello friends, and welcome to Ed Talks number 15. This time around, you guys know that this week we're doing ocean stuffs. So, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about a special word called biomes. Now, that is a big, crazy word. Don't worry about this triangle here. We'll explain what it means in just a minute. Biomes, like I said, is kind of a big word, but when we break it down, it's not that bad. It's not that scary. But the dictionary kind of says biomes are a community of plants and animals that have common characteristics for the environments they exist in. What? That's confusing. So in other words, biomes are the place in which similar plants and animals, they all kind of live together, right? But specifically it's the land that they live together on. So like if you go to savannah, or like what would you think you would see? Miss Edward is thinking, excuse me, elephants, cheetahs, zebras, lions, okay? All these animals live together in the savannah. And then when you go to like outside your house and you see, I don't know, squirrels and raccoons and all these types of critters that wander around. That's the biome that they live in. Okay. So I'm gonna explain the different types. First one is called a taiga, and it's divided into two different types. The first one is a tundra, super cold, lots and lots of snow, but not very many plants or anything like that. So think just really, really cold. The other one is called a Boreal Forest, which is mostly in Canada, and it makes up for about, I believe it said 33% of all the forest in the entire world. It's a really big amount, really cold, so kind of you're thinking, oh, it's the same as the tundra. Well, like I said before, not that many plants at all, mostly shrubs and mountains and things. Trees. Crazy, crazy amounts of trees. Really tall, big trees, winters that last up to 6 months. Then there's the next biome is called a temperate forest. If any of you have walked in any forest with like a walking trail or something like that, we're talking deers and chipmunks and these types of things. That's a temperate forest, and the temperate forests make up 25% of all forest land in the world. They're mostly on the east coast, so that's us, and into Canada and also some parts of Russia. But yeah, if you've ever seen a forest like that, or like the trails like you see here and all that, that's a temperate forest. The last biome that we'll talk about before the big one is a tropical forest. So many of my friends over their time at Schwartz with Kratz Brothers or what have you, the Amazon is a great example of this. They actually only make up 7% of the forest areas in the world, the biggest of which obviously is the Amazon. Tropical forests are home to millions of species of plants, animals, and insects. Okay, and depending on what part you're in, it could be wet, it could be cold, it could be dry, so, but that takes us to the biggest biome in the entire world, the ocean biome, which the ocean, all five of them, the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Arctic, the Southern, and the Indian Ocean. Those five oceans consist of 72% of the entire planet. So if you have a globe, like over half of it, you can see like 3/4 of that entire thing is going to be covered in water. And the biomes are actually different zones of the ocean. So each zone is going to be deeper and deeper and deeper. So you have the sunlight zone at the tippy top, the twilight zone, it's a little bit darker, the midnight zone, full of all these kinds of sharks and squids and other squishy things, the abyss zone with, I believe that's a sperm whale or blue whale, but anywho's, they've got, giant squids and all these kinds of things. And then the trench zone. which has like anglerfish and like different types of jellyfish and really tiny microscopic organisms. And let's read a little bit about the ocean, shall we? Oceans. Da-da-da. Oceans cover more than 2/3 of our planet's surface. All oceans contain salty water. They are home to a huge variety of animals and plants. Biomes are places where animals and plants live and grow. We just learned that, remember? Some prefer dry deserts, while others live in tropical rainforests. The animals and plants that live in the world's oceans have adapted to live in the salty water. Some animals and plants live near the surface of the water. Others are found far beneath the waves in the ocean depths. There's different layers, remember? Oceans of the world. Remember, we have, like I was saying, they have the Indian Ocean, Atlantic, Southern, Pacific, and way up here is the Arctic. And of course, we're kind of in this general area, and so the ocean nearest us would be right here in the Atlantic Ocean. The water that makes up the world's oceans is constantly on the move. It plays a big part in shaping Earth's weather. Oceans also have their own underwater zones, which can change as you go deeper beneath the surface. Oh man, look at this guy. It's really freaky looking. The hatchfish lives in the midnight zone of the world's oceans. There are 3 main ocean zones between the surface of the water and the seafloor. The top zone is called the sunlight because it's bathed in sun. Most ocean animals and plants live in the sunlight zone. As you sink deeper and deeper into the twilight zone, the water fades, the water gets cooler, and the water pressure increases. So the pressure in the water, when the deeper down you go, it feels like it's giving you a big hug, just tighter and tighter, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. The midnight zone is at the bottom of the ocean depths. This is a world of total darkness. Few animals and no plants can live in this extreme environment. Most of the ocean's plant life consists of algae, which is this stuff right here. You've probably seen it on the, if you've ever been to the beach, it's all gross and slimy. Just pick it up and throw it at people. Most algae drift in ocean currents and provide food for sea creatures. Other plants live in coastal regions where the ocean meets the land. Most algae that live in the ocean are teeny tiny. They can only be seen under a microscope. Algae are not true plants. They do not have roots, stems, and leaves like plants that grow on the land. Like plants, algae need sunlight to grow. They can grow on the ocean shore and in the top 660 feet of the ocean. So algae is gross and sticky. This stuff right here is actually seaweed. Animals. You can find different animals in every part of the ocean, from the surface all the way down to the seafloor. Some animals spend all of their lives underwater. Others use the ocean to hunt, but mostly live on land, like our friend, the giant sea turtle, who comes up to have their babies once a year, or once every few years, actually, I believe. In shallow waters, crabs and starfish roam across the seafloor. In some tropical waters, corals grow in huge reefs. These reefs provide shelter for other animals such as anemones, eels, reef sharks, and urchins. Kind of like in Finding Nemo, that giant space that they if you've ever seen the movie, that all the Nemo, his dad, and all his little buddies live in is called a reef. It's like all that stuff that kind of looks like rocks is coral. And when it's all together, it forms a reef. Sea mammals, they have the dolphins, have this guy here, remora fishes, and I believe this is a manatee. Let's see. Life on the ocean floor, we talked about this. In places where the ocean is shallow, the ocean floor may have coral reefs, mud flats, and rocky and salty areas, but the ocean floor is usually much deeper, thousands of feet below the surface. Animals adapt to life in these places in different ways. Some, such as flatfish, live just underneath the seabed. Others, such as anemones, attach themselves to coral reef. A giant octopus uses its tentacles to feel its way across the seabed. This octopus eats fish, including small sharks. So we can see all kinds of critters live the deeper down you get, right? Go a little deeper. Like I said, we've got sharks. We've got these guys down here, which are called anglerfish, which those are the ones that use the little light on top of their head to attract fish, and then they gobble them up. People have a strong bond with the oceans. The water provides a resource of food, including seaweed, fish, and shellfish. The future. In the last 100 years, the oceans have come under serious problems. That's right. Pollution, plastics, these types of things. People have taken large amounts of valuable resources from the sea, such as fish and oil. Human activities have also created problems, climate change and global warming. If Earth, but however, a lot of people, such as yourselves, have gone over how you can help this. People from all over the world do. You can recycle. If you go to a beach, make sure you clean up before you leave. These types of things. These right here are windmills. People are developing things like that to kind of get cleaner energy going on, and together we can work to reverse these kinds of problems. And that's it for the book. Let's get back into it. Ta-da! So the last thing I wanted to show, as always, there's a cool little video here. It's about 8 minutes long, parents. For the most part, this guy's really cool. He talks about the different oceans, their sizes, what kind of critters live there. You can take a look and see cool little dudes like this little jellyfish here. But that's all for today. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.